In this video, we're going to focus on finding slope. So the slope of a line tells us how steep that line is, and it also tells us whether the line rises, falls, if the line's flat, or if the line is straight vertical up and down. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to find slope. So you can find slope from 2 points. If you're given 2 points and you've got those points are x1, y1, and x2, y2. So any 2 points. This is going to be your formula, and you're going to want to have this formula, know this formula, memorize this formula. Okay, that formula is super important. And so it's basically just the change in y over the change in x. And so you're going to subtract your y's and subtract your x's. Notice in the formula that we are going y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So it doesn't really matter that you start with this one and then finish with this one, but what does matter is that when they are lining up, those two come from the same ordered pair. Those two come from the same ordered pair. Otherwise, your signs will get messed up. There are a couple different types of slope. So we talked about positive, negative. There could be zero slope. There could be an undefined slope. And so if you have, I'm sorry, let me get rid of those. Those got put on the wrong line. I'm so sorry. If you have a positive slope, that slope is going to go up from left to right. So that is rising. If you have a negative slope, that slope is going to fall. It's going to go down from left to right. If you have a zero slope, anytime you have a zero slope, that's going to always be a horizontal line. So a horizontal line is going to have a zero slope. If you notice in the equation, there's no x value. Okay. An undefined slope is going to be anytime you have a vertical line. And then if you notice in this equation, there's no y value. Okay. So 4 different types of slopes that you could have. The next thing is if you don't have the ordered pairs and you're just looking at the equation, you can still find the slope. And so you could be given the equation in slope-intercept form. Remember, that's y equals mx plus b. If that's the case, then you're just looking at the value that's written in front of x. And so m is going to be your slope. If it's not in slope-intercept form, then you're going to rearrange your function, your equation, so that you do have it solved for y. And once you have it solved for y, then you can look and pull out that m. All right, so let's look at some examples. So in example 1, we've got 2 ordered pairs. So it may be helpful, especially if you're first starting out solving for slope, to order or to label your ordered pairs. So we could label this as x1 and y1, x2 and y2. And now when we're plugging into our formula, and I'll write it up here so that we can see it as we're working, we've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. And so we're just going to plug in what we know. So to find the slope here, we're going to find the change in our y's. So 2 minus 8. And so I just took my y's. And then I'm going to take my x's and do the same. Now, since I started with the 2 here with my y2, I need to start with that x. So 2 minus 4. When I do that subtraction, 2 minus 8, that's going to give me a negative 6. 2 minus 4 is going to give me a negative 2. And when I simplify that, I get a positive 3. So that means that the slope is going to be 3. And that's it. That's all you have to do when you have ordered pairs. So again, we can look at this one, and I'll label those again. We've got x1 and y1, x2 and y2. And to find the slope, we're just finding the difference in our y's. So 4 minus 2. And then the difference in our x's. So 8 minus 3. So for 4 minus 2, I get 2. And 8 minus 3, I get 5. And that can't be simplified. So Slope is 2/5. Example 3. Again, I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. So for my slope, I've got my y's. I'm going to subtract, so -6 minus 9 over 4 minus 4. And so I end up with -15 over 0. Now, you cannot divide by 0. That is not okay. Okay? Can't divide by 0. That's a no-no. So what this tells us, when we have 0 in our denominator, meaning our x's are the same, okay? This is undefined. That means we have an undefined slope. Okay. If we look at the next one, we've got x1, y1, x2, y2. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to subtract my y's. -3 minus -3. Just be careful with your signs. And then -2 minus 2. So this time I get 0 in my numerator and -4 in the denominator. Now that is okay. Okay? This is fine. Because 0 divided by 4, well, that's just equal to 0. So my slope is 0. Okay? And if you think about what these would look like if we graphed them, right? If our x's were the same. Okay? So I've got 4, 9, and I've got 4, -6. That would be a vertical line because my x's are the same. But here, if my y's are the same, then that would be a horizontal line, and that's going to have a slope of 0. Okay. All right, example 5. So here, okay, this is y equals -8. And so this does not have an x value, okay? It's a horizontal line. All the y's are going to be the same. They're all going to go through -8. And so this is one you just need to know that the slope is 0. Anytime it's a horizontal line, the slope is 0. All right. Number 6, this one we've got an equation. It's in y equals mx plus b form. So we're just pulling out that m. M is going to be our slope. And so m equals -9. So since that was already in slope-intercept form, I didn't have to do any extra work. But if we look at question 7, that's not in y equals mx plus b form, so I need to get it that way. So I'm going to start by moving my x over. So I've got -11y equals -12x plus 132. Then I'm going to divide, and I'm going to divide everything by that -11. And so I've got y equals 12 over 11x minus 12. But now the part I want, right, y equals mx plus b, I just want that. That's what I need if all I'm trying to find is the slope. And so the slope is 12 over 11. Last one, again, this is not in y equals mx plus b form, so I need to get it that way. So I'm going to start by moving my x over. So 15y is equal to -x plus 1. I'm going to divide everything by 15. And so I've got y equals, that's an understood 1 in front of that x. So that's going to make that negative 1/15 x plus 1/15. Remember, this is y equals mx plus b. The part I want is right there. So that means that my slope, is negative 1/15.